welcome to gardenville.tv and welcome to Bloom in the Park. We are speaking to Brian Cleary from CFE in Dundrum. Now, first of all, you're going to have to tell me, Brian, what does CFE in Dundrum mean?
Yeah, CFE Dundrum, it stands for the College of Further Education, and there's various courses there. One of them is garden design, which I chose in the last year. It's kind of an avenue to try and get back to work in pursuit of a real dream kind of hobby, and to try and turn it into a career is a great chance to have.
And Brian, what did you do before you actually got involved in this course?
Yeah, well, I have an architectural background, and which I've worked at all my life, and just through employment a couple of years ago I chose to do the course. It's kind of a niche that I can pursue. It's also in relation to what I've done before, where gardens are always the last thing that are looked at after a domestic job or extension is done. So that's kind of a useful tool to have.
So you've gone outside that kitchen design and you've gone into the garden.
Exactly, yeah.
So can you tell us, what do you call your garden here at Bloom?
Well, the name of the garden is columbarium. Columbarium, it's a kind of a fancy word for a dovecote, but traditionally they were buildings, especially from medieval times, that were used for the storage of funeral urns and ashes. Those buildings would become inhabited by birds, and were eventually kind of constructed purposely for birds, for the harvesting of eggs and for roosting purposes. And I've chosen a dovecote as the main focal point of the garden, which houses lots of various interesting trinkety type of Irish native plants. And it shows a kind of a symbiotic relationship and a harmonious relationship between natural habitats and man-made habitats.
Can you point out some features in the garden to us?
Well, I mean, we've three main features, the dovecote obviously being the main one, and as I said, it represents that kind of a man-made structure that has become balanced with the countryside. We've also got these beehives, which kind of represent the resurgence. At the moment in Ireland, we've gone through an awful kind of depressed time with the demise of development, and we've got a new resurgence of agriculture and horticulture. So these beehives, they represent the kind of industrious nature of our new agriculture, and they're rising out of the ashes of the development culture. This grass here, the Ophiopogon grass, it's the only plant in the garden that isn't actually native or naturally occurring within Ireland. So these new useful agricultural structures are rising out of those ashes, and again it just shows the balance between them and the natural landscape.
And what have we got behind us here then as well, Brian?
Well, we've got various kind of plants that would be particular to around kind of the Midlands and the West Midlands, around the waterscapes of Ireland. So we've created these kind of watery ditches here. They're planted with the likes of Talia del Bata. They love to be grown out of the water. We've meadowsweet here, this lovely kind of clump in the corner here. And we've got lots of Juncus effusus around the front of the garden just to set it off. Common rush, which is seen everywhere. A lot of people would describe it as problematic, especially on agricultural land. But if they're divided up and if they're cut back and grown from February on, they come back lovely, for the summer. Lovely thing to have as an ornamental piece.
Susan, would you like to ask him anything on the plant aspect of the garden?
I don't think so. I don't think you've left me anything there, Catherine. It's just as he said about the Juncus effusus, the rush. When I see it, I think, ooh, bad drainage. Yeah. Well, coming from an agricultural background. But everything seems to be native here, as you said.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I mean, they are mostly water plants and suitable for kind of boggy and marshy conditions. And that is the nature. It's kind of a bog garden, if you like. Some of them are particular to water, but the majority of them really enjoy kind of damp conditions.
No, I really am enjoying the planting, because it really does make you feel like you are out in a midland bog or somewhere out in the country. So I think terrific job on the planting.
Yeah, that was the idea, was to try and create a relaxing space that would just feel like you were on a walk for on a country walk, and just to be able to enjoy that space.
And you've definitely achieved it.
Thank you.
Brian, I'm just standing here on your wooden, what would you call this, our little walkway?
It's representative of a boardwalk that you'd have in a kind of a bird sanctuary type of a setting. Again, the natural habitat theme. So this is the typical kind of a structure you'd have around those areas for access to a bird watching tower or so. Like this area here, it kind of represents where you can watch from, and this would be kind of the platform that would lead you to that space.
Now, for a garden like this, it just doesn't appear, does it? There must have been a lot of hard work that went into something like this, between planning and getting the whole thing developed.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the skill was kind of trying to make it look as natural as possible. Yeah. But I had so much help from my colleagues in the college, really good enthusiasts, who love this type of planting and just enjoy the whole experience of working at Bloom.
Well, congratulations. We see a medal on the way in as well. Can you tell us about your medal?
Well, we're delighted. Like, we're first timers here. This is my first show garden to work on, and we just came in with a silver gilt, which is just below gold, but we're absolutely thrilled with that now.
Well, many congratulations. Brian Cleary from the College of Further Education in Dundrum. Congratulations on a super garden, and thank you for talking to us at gardenville.tv.
Thank you. Yeah.